When you see someone like Tom Cruise, grossing $1 billion with Top Gun Maverick, the sequel,
Yeah.
35 years or so after the first one, what do you think of that?
That doesn't mean shit to me. The guy's been doing the same effing part for 35 years. I got no respect for that.
Really?
I don't give it. Nah, yeah, really, brother. I don't care about money and power.
You don't think Tom Cruise is a good actor?
I think he's irrelevant in my world.
Mickey Rourke has never been just another Hollywood actor. From his early days as a brooding heartthrob in the 1980s to his dramatic comeback with The Wrestler, Rourke has carved out a reputation as one of Tinseltown's most unpredictable and controversial figures. But what many fans don't know is how his intense personality and uncompromising approach to his craft created some of the most explosive feuds in Hollywood history. Rourke's decade-long boxing career didn't just change his face. It transformed his entire outlook on life and relationships, making him even more confrontational and direct than he already was. Behind the glamorous red carpets and movie premieres, Rourke developed serious personal conflicts with some of the biggest names in the industry. These weren't just professional disagreements or creative differences. These were deep, personal animosities that affected careers, friendships, and entire film projects. The stories you're about to hear come from insiders who witnessed these confrontations firsthand. From heated arguments on movie sets to explosive encounters at industry parties, these feuds reveal a side of Hollywood that rarely makes it into the tabloids. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on Mickey Rourke's most bitter rivalries. These are the 6 actors that Mickey Rourke genuinely couldn't stand, and the explosive stories behind their conflicts that changed Hollywood relationships forever. 6. Matt Dillon.
God, no. No, absolutely not. I don't walk the same, talk the same, look the same, sound the same, hear the same, react the same, especially. Before with me, there were no rules. I didn't really care about repercussions and stuff like that.
In the early 1980s, both Mickey Rourke and Matt Dillon were climbing the ladder to stardom at exactly the same time. They were both young, talented, and hungry for success. Hollywood loved putting them in the same category as the new generation of leading men. But their similar career paths created an unexpected rivalry that would last for decades. The trouble started during a joint interview for a major entertainment magazine in 1983. Dillon made what seemed like innocent comments about Rourke's intense method acting approach, calling it maybe a bit too much for some roles. Rourke didn't take the criticism well. He felt like Dillon was trying to make him look bad in front of the press. According to people who were there, Rourke's face went completely red, and he barely spoke for the rest of the interview. The tension got worse when they started competing for the same roles. Every time one of them got a part, the other felt like he deserved it more. Their agents had to be careful not to submit them for the same projects because the competition was so fierce. A casting director who worked with both actors during this period remembers the situation clearly. You couldn't mention Matt's name around Mickey without seeing his jaw clench. It was like watching a time bomb waiting to go off. We learned real quick to keep them on separate projects. The rivalry affected both their careers, with some directors avoiding the drama by choosing neither actor for certain roles. 5. Kevin Costner. During the 1990s, Kevin Costner was on top of the world. He had just won Academy Awards for Dances with Wolves and was considered one of Hollywood's most bankable stars. Meanwhile, Mickey Rourke was struggling to find good roles and watching his career slowly slip away. This difference in their success created serious bad blood between the two actors. Rourke felt that Costner was getting all the attention and respect that he deserved. He started making public comments about Costner's acting abilities, calling his performances wooden and one-dimensional in interviews. The situation exploded when Rourke gave a particularly harsh interview to a major entertainment magazine. He said that Costner's success proved that Hollywood valued looks and charm over real talent. He claimed that any decent actor could do what Costner did on screen. When Costner heard about these comments, he didn't stay quiet. He used his influence with major studios to make sure Rourke had a harder time getting quality roles. Several projects that Rourke was being considered for suddenly became unavailable to him. The feud affected Rourke's career in ways that lasted for years. Studio executives were nervous about hiring an actor who publicly attacked one of their biggest moneymakers. Some casting directors were told directly not to consider Rourke for certain types of roles. An agent who worked during this period remembered the impact clearly. After Mickey went after Kevin in the press, doors started closing for him all over town. Kevin had real power back then, and Mickey learned the hard way that you don't bite the hand that feeds Hollywood. 4. Shaun Penn. Mickey Rourke and Shaun Penn should have been natural allies in Hollywood. Both were serious method actors who came up in the same era and shared a reputation for being intense and uncompromising about their craft. They even had similar backgrounds, growing up tough and bringing that edge to their performances. But their shared intensity became the source of their biggest problem. Neither man was willing to back down from a fight, and their egos clashed whenever they were in the same room. The trouble started when they were both being considered for the same gritty drama in the late 1980s. During a meeting with the director, both actors were asked to read scenes together to test their chemistry. What should have been a professional audition turned into a competition to see who could be more intense and authentic. They started interrupting each other and questioning each other's interpretations of the characters. The situation got worse when Penn made comments about Rourke's boxing career affecting his acting ability. He suggested that getting hit in the head too many times might have changed Rourke's approach to preparing for roles. Rourke saw this as a personal attack on both his intelligence and his dedication to his craft. Their mutual friends in the industry tried to patch things up between them, but both men were too stubborn to apologize. They would avoid each other at parties and industry events, creating awkward situations for everyone around them. A screenwriter who worked with both actors described their relationship simply. It was like watching two alpha dogs in the same territory. They respected each other's talent, but they couldn't stand sharing the spotlight. Every conversation became a contest. Neither one was willing to lose. 3. Robert De Niro.
He's a and a crybaby. He's a and a crybaby.
Did you ever talk boxing with De Niro, considering Raging Bull?
Raising my oh, God. No, he's a
Robert De Niro was Mickey Rourke's hero long before they ever met. Rourke studied De Niro's performances in Taxi Driver and Raging Bull like they were religious texts. He wanted to follow in De Niro's footsteps and become the next great method actor of his generation. But admiration slowly turned into bitter resentment as Rourke watched De Niro's career continue to soar while his own began to stumble. Rourke felt like De Niro looked down on him and never took him seriously as an actor. He believed that De Niro saw him as just another pretty face trying to be tough. The breaking point came at a private screening in the mid-1990s. Both actors were there with a small group of industry people. When someone asked De Niro about the current state of method acting in Hollywood, he made comments that Rourke took as a direct insult to his work and dedication. Rourke confronted De Niro right there in front of everyone. He accused the legendary actor of being jealous of younger talent and trying to keep other method actors from getting recognition. The room went completely silent as the two men stared each other down. People who were there said you could cut the tension with a knife. De Niro didn't say much back, which only made Rourke angrier. He felt like he was being dismissed and treated like he wasn't worth a real response. An acting coach who knew both men explained the situation simply. Mickey wanted Bobby's respect more than anything, but he went about getting it all wrong. Instead of earning it, he demanded it, and that just pushed Bobby further away. 2. Richard Gere.
I remember when they arrested Richard Gere for pissing in the street. 'Cause I used to piss in the street all the time.
Yeah.
Well, fuck that. I go into jail for pissing in the street.
They give tickets now. That's old school.
Oh, yeah.
In the 1980s, Mickey Rourke and Richard Gere were fighting for the same territory in Hollywood. Both were dark-haired, intense actors who could play romantic leads or tough guys with equal skill. They were often up for the same parts, which created natural competition between them. But the rivalry went deeper than just professional jealousy. Rourke felt that Gere was getting roles based on his pretty boy looks rather than his acting ability. He believed that he was the better actor, but that Hollywood preferred Gere's more polished and marketable image. The personal tension between them exploded at a high-profile Hollywood party in 1987. Rourke had been drinking and decided to confront Gere about what he saw as unfair advantages in their careers. He approached Gere near the bar and started making loud comments about actors who relied on their looks instead of their talent. Gere tried to walk away from the confrontation, but Rourke followed him across the party. Other guests watched in shock as Rourke continued his verbal attack. Security eventually had to escort Rourke out of the event, but the damage to their relationship was already done. The incident became gossip throughout Hollywood within days. Both actors' representatives had to work overtime to control the story and minimize the negative publicity. The feud affected their ability to work together and created awkward situations at industry events for years. A director who worked with both actors during this period remembered the situation well. You couldn't even mention Richard's name around Mickey without seeing his whole mood change. It was like watching someone flip a switch from normal to angry in seconds. 1. John Travolta. Both Mickey Rourke and John Travolta knew what it felt like to fall from the top of Hollywood and fight their way back up. Travolta had his massive comeback with Pulp Fiction in 1994, while Rourke found his redemption much later with The Wrestler in 2008. But instead of bonding over their similar experiences, their different approaches to career revival created serious tension between them. Rourke felt that Travolta's comeback was easier because he had better connections and more industry support during his difficult years. The conflict became public when Rourke made comments about Travolta's involvement with Scientology in several interviews. He suggested that Travolta's religious connections helped him get better roles and more opportunities when he was trying to rebuild his career. Rourke also criticized some of Travolta's movie choices during his comeback period, calling them safe and calculated rather than brave artistic risks. He felt that Travolta was playing it too safe and not taking the kinds of chances that real actors should take. The tension came to a head at an industry awards ceremony where both actors were present. Witnesses described their brief interaction as ice-cold and uncomfortable to watch. They barely acknowledged each other despite being introduced by mutual friends. Travolta never responded publicly to Rourke's criticisms, which only seemed to frustrate Rourke more. He felt like he was being ignored and dismissed once again by another successful actor. An industry insider who knew both men during this period summed up the situation perfectly. Mickey was still fighting his way back when John was already on top again. That kind of timing difference created resentment that never really went away. Mickey Rourke's complicated personality and uncompromising approach to his craft created some of Hollywood's most intense personal rivalries. While some of these feuds have cooled down over the years, others remain as bitter as ever. Rourke's story shows us that talent alone isn't enough in Hollywood. Sometimes the relationships you build or destroy can matter just as much as the performances you give. What other Hollywood feuds would you like us to explore? Subscribe and let us know in the comments, and don't miss our next deep dive into the secret conflicts that shape Tinseltown's biggest stars.